I needed something small to work on as I slowly write my adventure game, so I went back to work on a game and game engine I was writing in C++. When I started, I had a simple tile-based game reminiscent of Chip's Challenge. The player, and everything else, moves along a fixed grid. The perspective is top-down with simple graphics. The only real interactivity comes from pushable boxes, which can be used to build bridges, and the level exit, which is labeled as a stop sign and not an exit sign. I continued to improve the engine, knowing I wanted additional features. I added enemies and pickups, important features for any action game. In this game, you have to pick up all of the coins before you can complete the level. If you get bit by the dog, you have to go back to the start. All in all, I really wasn't happy with the look of the game. It didn't look like something I'd look at and think, I want to play that. I've always loved a game with an isometric perspective, and an isometric perspective works easily with a grid-based game. So, I wrote an isometric renderer. I'm quite proud of this. I didn't look up any tutorials or look at any example code. I figured out how to skew the render position of each entity in the world, how to sort the entities based on distance from the camera, and how to make an isometric tile set, all by winging it. I even added occlusion culling. Here's an example of some overly aggressive culling to show it working in action. At the same time, I also wanted to free the player from being stuck to the grid. So, I added 8-way free movement and the necessary collision code to allow the player to collide with the world. My first collision implementation naively checked if each entity, the player for example, was colliding with each and every tile in the world, each frame. In a map 64 by 64 tiles wide, that's over 8,000 checks per frame. So, I rewrote the collision code to first only get the world tiles surrounding the entity. Now, a maximum of 8 world tiles are checked per frame per entity. I made some game design changes in this build too. The pushable boxes are now restricted to path tiles. This prevents the player from getting the box stuck against a wall or in a corner. There are some changes to the first map too, giving the pushable box an actual purpose. In the second map, you'll encounter locked doors, which require a key to open. I also added enemies that follow a predefined path. These paths are made up of waypoints, which I can place in the map editor. Speaking of which, up to this point, I was creating levels as raw text files. Here's an example. The grid-looking thing you see here describes a level, with W's being walls, zeros being grass, ones being paths, etc. When a level loads, the game engine converts this text file into level data. I heard reference to an isometric tile editor called Tiled online, and I decided to check it out. My tile set loaded into Tiled effortlessly, and I was able to make some maps very quickly. I then opened up a tiled map in my text editor. Looks a lot like one of my level files, eh? So I rewrote my level loading code to instead use the tiled format. I now have a fully featured map editor, which I didn't have to make myself. I also wrote a system for populating, drawing, and interacting with menus. All of the menus you see here are built using a common menu parent class. This way, all menus are handled the same way by the renderer or when sending them inputs. And with that, I consider my game engine to be more or less feature complete. What do I mean by this? Well, I'm not just making this for fun. I have a specific game design in mind. And now, all the necessary game engine features are there for building this design. So what is it? It's called Heistmeister. You're part of a crew pulling a variety of fun heists. You play, for now anyway, as the man in the white shirt. It's your job to find loot and bring it to the cart. The cart is being pushed by your accomplice, the lady in the white shirt. When the cart reaches the end of its path, the heist is over. In this simple demo level, you're tasked with collecting loose cash while your accomplice makes her way through a park. A super skilled player might be able to grab all of the cash, but most players will miss a few during their mad scramble for a high score. It's fun already. My plan is to add lots of loot types with varying values and properties. Gold jewelry, for example, might count as valuable, metallic, and clothing. Gold bars instead might count as valuable, metallic, and industrial. Macarons, meanwhile, might count as valuable and food. Levels can have varying modifiers that request or restrict certain properties. The same level on a no food run might be very different from a only valuables run. This is my way of trying to increase replayability. Anyway, what you see here is all there is for now. The gameplay systems are built, but there isn't much content. So, that's what I'm up to next. Thanks for watching.